Hi, this is Gwen Reyes at the Dallas International Film Festival 2017. I'm here with trophy producer Christina Clusiau. Director, I apologize.
Co-director.
Co-director, okay. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about Trophy, which screened last night. How'd the screening go?
It went well. It was an intimate crowd. The Q&A is always, it's always hard to get people to want to come and see the film because of the tough subject matter. But I think once people get in the room and they really like the film and they feel like there's a lot of questions that come up for them.
Yeah.
So it was actually really great.
Oh, good. I can understand, like, investigating big game hunting has to be an incredibly challenging conversation to have. And what inspired you to make the film? And I think that we can go back and talk a bit about the reactions to the film.
Sure. Yeah, we started about 3.5 years ago, and my directing partner and I were in the kitchen, and he came across some photos online of a hunter that had killed an elephant. Wow. And he was shocked and he was outraged, and he couldn't believe that this was happening, that people could go and they could buy a hunt and kill one of these huge, majestic creatures. And I'm from northern Minnesota, where hunting is something that, people do all the time. And it's a very common practice, and it's a rite of passage for many. And I was kind of questioning him, like, well, let's think about this for a second. And so initially we had this idea that we wanted to get very deep into the industry and really shame them and say this is not acceptable. But once we got in, we went to Safari Club International, and it's an industry event. There's 25,000 people that come every year, and it's this huge hunting convention.
Right.
And where you can buy outfits, clothing, hunts, guns, all of these different things. And at that point, the industry just opened up. And so we thought that, okay, let's explore this more. And as we started down the journey, we realized that it's not so black and white, that there's a lot more about this line of what happens when you put economic value on animals and our relationship to them. So we just we changed from being very one way and through the film to more of a middle stance.
I think that that's a really important thing too, because I'm not a hunter, but I know a lot of people who do hunt and who have been a part of the Safari Club, and to me it's always been very challenging, but I've also learned so much by understanding how the economics of it work, conservation, and then going out and discovering sort of the unknown parts of it. What are some things that viewers can kind of take away with themselves to think about when it comes to these big game hunts?
Well, the film also follows John Hume, who is the largest private rhino breeder.
Yeah.
And he advocates that if you cut the rhino horn, you domesticate them in a way, so in South Africa, poaching in the last, since about 2008, 2009, has started to skyrocket. And now they're losing probably 1,000 to 1,200 rhinos a year.
Yeah.
Now there's only 29,000 left. And so at that rate, they're going to be gone in the next 10, 15, 20 years, unless there's a solution. And right now the solution is just protect the rhinos. But the reality is that the poachers are so much infiltrating the structure that they can't protect all these rhinos.
Right, yeah.
And so John Hume has a rhino farm where he has 1,500 rhinos in the northwest province of South Africa, and he advocates to cut the horn. And he's stockpiling the horn. He cannot sell it. It's not legal right now in the country. But he believes that if he could sell the horn, and he could sell it to poachers and community members, then nobody's going to want to kill a rhino.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that the world has always kind of shied away from. They've kind of villainized and demonized Mr. Hume, and the unfortunate thing is maybe he has a very viable solution, but a lot of people don't want to hear it. So I think coming into the film, it's interesting. We ask people to you're going to come in with your preconceived notions and your ideas, but hopefully you're going to leave with more questions and answers.
Yeah.
And this is one subject that we really, through the film, if you told me 3 years ago that I would be advocating for the legal trade in rhino horn, I would have said, no, that's not right. Don't cut the rhino's horn. It should be wild and free.
Yeah.
But the reality is that's no longer an option.
And Christina, for you, at what point in making the film was it as you filmed it, that your opinion of that changed, that you kind of went from black and white to gray?
I think so. Yeah. I think it was in the process. I think it was spending time with these characters. When you start making a documentary, you're always curious about the subject that you're pursuing or that you're looking at. And for this world, we didn't know much about it. And so you go into it with your own view.
Yeah.
And then you learn about the characters and you spend time with these characters, and they tend to skew you in a direction. And so then it becomes about the characters.
Yeah.
And then the third step is the audience. So when the viewers come in, it's the same thing. It's like those, you may come in with one way and think another way.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, Christina, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
How can people find Trophy after it's finished at DIF?
So it's going to Full Frame International Film Festival in North Carolina.
Awesome.
Then we're going to, I'm trying to think where else we're going to. Montclair, New Jersey this summer. Hamptons Film Festival this summer in Sheffield. And then it's coming out with The Orchard in August as the theatrical distribution. And then it will be on CNN early next year.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and have
Thank
a
you.
great rest of your time in Dallas.
Thank you.